Hey there, Zombie Battleground fans. My name's Extranji. I'm here with game director Roy Shapiro. I've sort of collected a list of questions that some of the communities had about the game, some questions that I've had about the game, and we're gonna go through and get some answers. I hope you'll find this cool, as I do. So, first question on the list is, what is the process of making a new card? Like, how long does it take? What do you guys go through?
Basically, when we are preparing a new card, first of all, it needs to be number balanced between the factions. So we need to make sure that we have about the same number of generals, about the same number of commanders, officers, and minions for all the factions. So there wouldn't be a situation where one of the factions is overpowering the rest of them. The second thing that I'm looking for, the stats and abilities should fit the rank. So if it's a general, it needs to be something unique, something powerful and sought after that changes the balance of the games kind of. If it's a minion, it should just be there as cannon fodder. So it really depends on what card I'm working on. If we take, for example, like a commander, not the most powerful, not the least powerful, but right there in the middle. So a commander has its own rank buff from the get-go. So whenever it goes into play, it gives the rank buff to two other low-ranking cards in play. And I take that into account while giving him his stats. And usually I try to balance it compared to the goo cost. So let's say the basic is 5 goo cost will give me 5 attack, 5 defense. And then I have to balance it with the ability. So if the ability, for example, is heavy, something fairly simple, then it's kind of roughly worth 1 attack and 1 defense. So 5 goo cost will give me 4 heavy. And if the ability is a bit more complex, it's a bit more giving, like a +1, +2, does 2 damage on entry, stuff like that. Then does 2 damage means that I have to lower its attack. If it gives 2 defense, then I need to lower its defense in the stats. So it has to be a balanced card by itself. And after I have a balanced card by itself, in the design process, I look at the rest of the cards and how it synergizes with the rest of the cards in the same faction and from other faction. Does it have something that is similar? Does it have anything that already catches this kind of role? How many heavies do I have? How many pharaohs do I have? And so on. And then we make sure that the card itself, the idea of it is balanced. We will not really know if it's balanced and good to go until it goes into the game and we actually try it. So as long as it's on paper, it's kind of like an educated guess, so to speak. I try to imagine the rest of the cards and try to like play imaginary battles in my head and so on. Then after I have it designed, according to the ability, according to the weight class, according to the rank, I give it a kind of a name. So if it's a fire guy who is also feral, then I try to find some sort of a more aggressive name, something sleeker, shorter, something that would fit the ability as well. So, for example, if I have a card that its ability is kind of like throwing a fireball upon entry, then I'll try to think something that will do that for like a fire match or fireball or pyro or something, whatever. So usually the name kind of grows from the ability and so on. But the name at that point is not really solid. It's kind of like vague directional thing. Then we give it to the art team. The art team starts with a sketch, and the sketch is really a rough direction according to the ability, according to the rank, and according to the size of the zombie. If it's heavy, it's more bulky. If it's feral, it's more aggressive and animalistic. If it's a walker, it's a slower classical zombie kind of look. Think about it. The minion is kind of like a 12-year-old boy. Um, uh, an officer is kind of like a 16-year-old boy, scrawny. Commander would be a 25, 30-year-old man. And a general would be like a 45 veteran, like a 40-year-old veteran, kind
Yeah,
of like
all
battle
grizzled.
hardened. Yeah, all grizzled and full of scars. And he knows what he's doing. Don't mess with this guy. And or maybe he's like Godzilla, just like a giant monster.
Yeah, we've got a few of those
Or
big
or
guys like
or
Gargantua,
Gargantua,
the
exactly. He's
mountain.
like this huge lava guy, inspired by Kronos from Clash of the Titans. If And then the art team kind of draws what they feel like this is going to be. We have Janet, our lead artist. She gives her 2 cents, and the artists themselves, each one of the artists has their own style and their own kind of vision. I give them a little bit of a leeway as long as it fits the general direction. They kind of bring their own creative vision into it. Once I have the sketches, we go through some iteration phases. We go through, okay, this is not really showing the ability. This is too much. This is too little. This guy is a commander, not an officer. Blah blah blah. So it goes through several cycles in the, and eventually we hit the right tone, the right direction for the sketch. We do a color test, making sure that the colors fit right, which is kind of like a really rough 30-minute. Let's see how it looks with colors. Then it goes into polish, and polish usually takes a while, at least a day, maybe 2 days, depending on the complexity of the image. More complex generals may take even longer than that. After I see the final product, the final creature, or how it looks like, it might go down a rank, it might go up a rank, it might go get a name change according to it. It might, something would pop out. It's more like a gut feeling than anything else. This guy looks like a Frank. This guy looks like a Bob, whatever.
Looks like a Chernobyl.
Yeah, exactly. This guy looks like a, yeah. Because the artist, he just did some nuclear chimney, like a huge chimney, radiation and all that, because of his abilities. And I said, oh my God, this guy came straight out of Chernobyl. And he said, hey, why not call him Chernobyl?
Nice.
Because, yeah. So it kind of like a synergic, that kind of grows with the art. Everything combines together. After we have the art, after we have everything done, we put him into the game and start actually testing him live with, of course, in the development branch. We before it goes to public even. We test him, see how it goes, see how it works as part of a deck, see how it works as a part of the AI deck, see how it is to fight him, see how it is to fight with him.
Yeah, do you guys have a very big like tester QA team for Balance, or?
Well, we do have like a 60 people studio, so lots of testers, and we do have like 1,000 people in the community, so more testers. But before it goes to the community, before it goes to the backers, we do some in-house testing. We have the QA team, we have the game team, we have the game designers. Each one of them is looking at the card a little bit different. The QA looks if it's working. The designers look at it a little bit different. The designers look at it as, does it synergize as well with everything else? Is it balanced with everything else? I look at it as the director. Does this one feels right? Does this card, can it be more? Can it be less? Is it lacking something? Is something missing to make it more awesome? And eventually we get into a place where it's kind of balanced. It takes like 1 or 2 iterations to get it into a place where it's kind of, okay, we're good to go to try to start community testing, and we send it out into the alpha. Once it goes into the alpha, we get community feedback. Lots of times the feedback is silent. It's like, do they even use this card? Other times it's very vocal. It's like, this one is broken. What's going on with the
I've definitely expressed some my own opinions on Balance in the Discord so far.
Exactly. So sometimes it goes slab it and go and all that, all the slab memes and such. So yeah, and of course, once we do get that, then we have to rebalance it a little bit. That's why we have the community, so we can make everything fun and balanced.
Yeah, definitely. You can only do so much testing with a 60-person team.
Exactly. The future, after we have version 1 out, we're going to have a beta branch where we're going to be testing it with a smaller group of people that will agree to be beta testers, and we'll have like at least a couple of months of testing before we release a card. And obviously, unless it's super broken, it's just going to be there. So
well,
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I don't think I've heard of many other major card like studios. I don't think Blizzard does that. I don't think I've heard of that for Magic the Gathering or anything. Have you guys ever, so you described this process of you go from like, you start with maybe the stats or some concept for the ability, and then you take it to You give it a name and you take it to art. Have you guys ever started like and gone in reverse? You start one of your artists drew up this really cool concept sketch and you were like, oh, we got to make this into a card.
Actually, yes, it happened a few times. I think Boomstick started like that. Bulldozer started like that. And we went the other way around. That the art created something, and we kind of. So it really comes from anywhere. But this is the regular process that we do it. Even if we get like an art from somewhere or an idea from somewhere, then we put it into the ringer from the start. We get it just like the part about the art or the part about the idea is kind of like there. It needs to go through the cycle to be fun. And that's the bottom line. We need to be fun and balanced as part of the game.
Absolutely. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks. That is a super cool like snapshot into the design process.
You just heard an interview with Zombie Battleground game director Roy Shapira. If you want to know more about Zombie Battleground, or you want to back the project and get early access, then check out the website at loom.games. You can find some great conversation happening on the official Zombie Battleground Discord. And if you're on Twitter, we're quite active over there, at ZBCardGame, and our company account at Loom Network. Of course, you can find all of these links below. Stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 of this interview. My name is Robert, your content and community manager. Until next time, zombie on.